Namaste. Welcome to Ananda Sai Seva Nilayam Vakadu, Tirupati district. We are going to start a new podcast series in our YouTube channel called Teach to Learn Sessions on Ramayanam and its day-to-day connectivity in our lives. These podcast series are in reference to a book named Ramayanam for younger generations, Valmiki Ramayanam for younger generations, written by Sri Shamavedam Shanmuga Sharma garu. And I always feel these teach to learn sessions are something so important. It's my experience as well when I was trying to teach some of my kids, my daughter, Bhagavad Gita or some other epics, that when you start teaching others, it gives a different dimension or a different perspective to think about one's own life as well as the society. And I think these teach to learn sessions on Ramayanam and its day-to-day connectivity to Ramayanam are going to be very helpful for one's individual growth as well as the society's growth. So I feel, I hope all the subscribers of ASSN, Ananda Sai Seva Nilayam, are going to welcome this series and make use of these series. And definitely I'm sure that this is going to help me a lot, because this is a teach to learn sessions which I'm going to learn a lot from these sessions. So what do you think? So Ramayanam and the connectivity with the Bharata Desha. It's always considered that there is an umbilical relationship between Ramayanam and Bharata Desha, the Indian. Ramayanam is like, a heartbeat of every Indian, every Bharatiya. Without any effort, you can find Ramayanam instances or incidences. You can find anything about related to the Ramayanam in every nook and corner of this Bharata Desha. The story of Ramayanam, it involves Sita, Rama, Lakshmana, Hanuman, Dasharatha, Sumitra, Kausalya, Kaikeyi, Vibhishana, Guha, and even Ravana are so interconnected. And these characteristics of these characters are so intertwined that you cannot pass even a day without referring to any situation or any incident or any emotion from this itihasa in our day-to-day lives. Itihasa, it is called as itihasa. Itihasa, it happened in this way. That's where we are calling it as like itihasa. These are not something called stories. These are called itihasas, epics. That means it happened in this fashion when you were not there. And we have to learn from these itihasas so that in whatever the fashion that happened in those days, that are giving some lessons for our day-to-day life. And it's not an exaggeration to say that, one can understand Bharatiyata or the culture of Bharatiya Sanskriti only if they understand the key elements of Ramayana. Until unless a person cannot understand Ramayana, it's very difficult to that person to understand the Sanskriti of Bharatiyata and an Indian Bharatiya as well. There are so many vernaculars having different colloquial expressions which are basically taken out from Ramayanam descriptions. For example, in Telugu, we call as Ramabhanam. So if anybody says like this, we describe that person's particular statements or the decisions as Ramabhanam. Why? It's because there is no further stoppage to that particular Rama Bhanam. That means once the Rama has thrown his arrow, it has to hit that particular person. No further distractions will be there. So in the same way, if a person has taken any decision in their life, it means that there is no further repenting on that particular decision or going back towards that decision. Such sort of colloquial expressions are there in every nook and corner of this India in different varna. And there are some other colloquial expressions in Kannada, like ಕುಂಭಕರ್ಣ ನಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. Means like if a person is sleeping deeply without bothering about any other circumstances way or the situations where he is sleeping, then he is referred to as like Kumbhakarna, brother of Ravana who sleeps for 6 months. So that is one of the colloquial expression. In a similar way, in Hindi, sometimes people refer it as he is facing Agni Pariksha, wo to Agni Pariksha hai uske liye to. That means it is a sort of a complex situation where Sita Mata has gone through after she is back from Lanka to before she is back to Ayodhya. So that was the situation, and if a person is into a very difficult situation, and that sort of a colloquial expression will be used. These are all indicates that the Indians and the Indian culture is so interconnected with Ramayana and the intricacies and the situations and the characters and the emotions of Ramayana. And so it's so important for us to understand Ramayana and its connectivity to our day-to-day life, so that we can improve our lives in our day-to-day life and make use of that language that was given from sages to one's individual growth as well as to the society's growth. I hope these Teach to Learn podcast series are going to be helpful for children, especially because those people are going to be the future generations, and definitely it's going to help me. Thank you very much. Namaste.